And welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show on our continued journey to 500,000 subscribers. We're literally almost at 330,000. Let's at least get to 350,000 by the end of the day. All right, let's do it. Let's just go big or go home, because the stupidity out of DC is insane. So make sure you subscribe, you watch, you keep the comments coming, and share with your friends. Because think about it this. Last night, Mark Carney won as the Prime Minister of Canada, right? He was the leading candidate for the Liberal Party. And the goal was, of course, to secure a fourth term in power. Now, as we've talked about previously, Trump brought Canadians together to protest against the Maple MAGA. Prime Minister Mark Carney, he spoke about unity against America. And while that's a bad look for us, it's actually a great look for Canada. And I want to show you some parts of Mark Carney's acceptance speech last night, because I think it's a strong warning for Trump to watch out for Canada, even though he thinks that they're weak. Now, first, I want to show you a clip from a Canadian voter saying what all of us are actually thinking. Play the clip.
I think who I voted for would be the best to take care of Trump, because Trump is, I'm sorry to say, an ass, and he shouldn't even be president of the United States. But because he is, we need a strong person so that we could stand strong.
Chances are this woman probably didn't even want to vote for Mark Carney. But knowing Mark Carney's personality, knowing who he is, this is the person that she felt, and many Canadians, like my own cousins, feel that is needed in order to take on this continuous commentary by Trump about making Canada our 51st state. I assure you, Mark Carney would not accept the things that Justin Trudeau accepted, meaning, oh, well, we'll just call Trudeau governor, and we'll talk about Canada like it's the 51st state of America. They're not going to allow Trump to continue to talk about how America defends Canada and that Canada only exists because of America. Carney's a totally different type of a politician. Now, during his speech, Carney also spoke about how the old relationship between Canada and the United States is gone. And while Canada has been betrayed, they must stick together. This is an incredible speech by Carney. Play it.
We are once again at one of those hinge moments of history. Our old relationship with the United States, a relationship based on steadily increasing integration, is over. The system of open global trade anchored by the United States, a system that Canada has relied on since the Second World War, a system that, while not perfect, has helped deliver prosperity for a country for decades, is over. These are tragedies, but it's also our new reality. We are over the shock of the American betrayal, but we should never forget the lessons.
But you're going to take us forward.
We have to look out for ourselves. And above all, we have to take care of each other.
It was a phenomenal speech. I mean, I'm sitting there, I was watching it and saying to myself, isn't this what everybody's thinking? Because he also goes on and he speaks about the rhetoric that's coming out of America, and not just from Trump, but from this entire administration. Play the clip.
We see every day what the politics of slogans and anger and chaos are doing south of the border. They are dividing and they are weakening the Americans. And that is why, they are not united anymore. United in name only.
Yeah. Listen, it's true. In fact, in my Substack today, I write about it. What are we doing? And I'm going to get to that at the very end. But Carney goes on and he speaks about why Trump even wants Canada. Play the clip.
And now the Americans want our strength. They want our resources, our water, our land. They want our country. There's your answer. There's your answer. Because Canada is not America. Canada is not America. Thank God. America is a melting pot. Look around this room. We're all Canadians. We're all Canadians. We're all distinct. We're all Canadians. Canada is our
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's hard to imagine that we're talking about expansionism in 2025. Why? Because Vladimir Putin is trying to expand Russia's territory into Ukraine, into Poland, into the Baltics. So Trump now has to want to expand into Canada, into Mexico, into Panama, into Greenland. What are we doing? Meanwhile, it's insane because Carney then speaks about what he will say when he ultimately sits down with Trump. Play that clip.
When I sit down with President Trump, it will be to discuss the future economic and security relationship between two sovereign nations. And it will be with our full knowledge that we have many, many other options than the United States to build prosperity for all Canadians. Nous allons.
Look, let me be very clear about something. When they ultimately sit down, it's really not a fair sit down. Mark Carney, who ran the Bank of Canada, he understands the economy. He understands what he's talking about, as opposed to, our dear leader who's sitting there and talking about tariffs like a kid having a temper tantrum in a park because he's not getting his way. Tariffs didn't work for him the first time in 2017. Why his people thought to allow him to go forward with this now in 2025. It makes no sense at all. We saw in 2017 when Trump imposed the aluminum tariff on Canada. Immediately, like within days, he pulled back. Well, what is he doing right now? The exact same thing. He's pulling back on the automobile industry because he's getting pushback. He's pulling back on aluminum and steel. Why? Pushback. First time he got pushback from, it was like the bottling companies, Coca-Cola bottling companies, because the cost on soda was going to go through the roof, right? Now, of course, it's the auto workers and so on. Listen, this is not something that you can just turn around and say on Monday, we're going to impose a tariff. Tuesday, we're going to pull it back. Wednesday, I'm not sure what we're going to do. It sends the markets into chaos. And that, my friends, is where our country is falling. And the last clip that I want to show you is Carney speaking about how he's going to represent every single Canadian, even while Trump is trying to break apart the country. Play that clip.
Humility is also about recognizing that one of the responsibilities of government is to prepare for the worst, not hope for the best. As I've been warning for months, America wants our land, our resources, our water, our country. Never. But these are not idle threats. President Trump is trying to break us so that America can own us. That will never ever happen. But we also must recognize the reality that our world has fundamentally changed. There is also, for me, as I stand before you this evening, humility in recognizing that, well, many have chosen to place your trust in me, trust in the Liberal Party. Millions of our fellow citizens preferred a different outcome. And my message to every Canadian is this: no matter where you live, no matter what language you speak, no matter how you voted, I will always do my best to represent everyone who calls Canada home.
And while all of this is happening, I am amazed. In fact, I wrote about it, as I was saying before, in my Substack. CNN came out with a poll. 55%. I want you to hear me on this, because this is why I'm saying to each and every one of you, share this with a friend. Help us to build this community to put a stop to this stupidity. 55% of Republicans and independents who lean Republican have faith and hope in Trump's remaining time as president for the second term, that they think that he could still do a good job. Now, I like the fact that people are hopeful. There's a difference between being hopeful and being optimistic. I get that. But who are these 55%? What are they thinking? What are they watching? What are they hearing? Is it because they're so glued to Fox News, to Newsmax, OAN, and that right-wing, media ecosystem that they have no idea that right now the country is falling apart economically? Tariffs are completely destroying the global economy. You're talking about immigration, cruel, unusual, no policy whatsoever, and so on. And we're sitting here, we're trying to figure out, how much more can this country take? How much more should we, as the American populace, how much more should we take? Or do we do what I say on all of these episodes? We need to stand up. We need to fight. We need to unite. We need to be a force that cannot be reckoned with. Again, it's why I keep saying, please subscribe, watch, comment, keep the comments coming. It helps me to figure out what to even talk about. And most importantly, share this with a friend. I can't tell you enough. When you start to see Amazon, for example, now fighting Jeff Bezos, who gave millions of dollars to Trump during the campaign. Why? He wanted the access. I get it. I totally get it. But right now, he's at war with this administration because he wants to show each and every one of you that buys anything from Amazon, if hypothetically you bought something and it cost you $1 and now it's costing you $2.20, it will say $1 cost of good, $1.20 will be regarding tariffs, and blame it on Trump. You see, think about the number of people every day that use Amazon. You will see how much money that these tariffs, that this stupid move is costing you, the American consumer. That's assuming you can even get the product, because now China, who has not capitulated, Canada, who has not capitulated, in fact, they lie on a regular basis, and they tell us that 200 countries have now come to the table. There aren't 200 countries in the world, but that's okay. It's just yet another lie. Not here. That's why I'm saying, got to subscribe, got to watch, got to comment, and you got to share this and help us to grow the community so that our voices can never be ignored. And as always, thanks for listening.
Hey everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. I mean, we're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.